Welcome back to Great Day St. Louis. You don't need me to tell you this, but non-essential businesses are reopening as we speak, but returning workers have some important and in many cases unanswered questions. Questions like, do I have to go back to work if I'm worried about contracting COVID-19? What if I lose my unemployment benefits because I don't go back? What if my employer won't allow me to wear a mask or gloves? Well, my next guest knows where the law stands on all of those issues. Ed Herman is with the law firm Brown and Crouppen. And I think, Ed, the burning question, the top question is, if you refuse to go back to work, is your employer entitled to give you the axe? Can they fire you?
Yeah, if the basis for you not wanting to go back to work is a mere fear for your own health, you don't have a current problem right now because that's covered by a different provision. But if the reason you don't want to go back is you're just afraid that you might catch the virus, then as far as terminating you, yeah, they can go ahead and terminate you for that because employment at will is the law for both Missouri and Illinois, and the mere fear of the disease is not enough to put you in a protected class.
So what if, while that business has been closed, and I think all parties understood it would be a temporary closure, what if you've been on
Yeah.
the sidelines collecting unemployment and on the basis of fear, you refuse to go back to work? Does that mean you're going to lose your unemployment benefits as well?
You may lose your unemployment benefits unless you meet certain exceptions, but the exceptions that you need to meet probably would have kept you your job also. Some of these exceptions include, if you yourself have tested positive and you're experiencing symptoms, that's going to keep you on the unemployment benefits, but it very likely would have kept you employed. Um, in Illinois, if you have symptoms and you're currently seeking a diagnosis, you can continue to get your unemployment benefits. If you've recovered from COVID-19, but now you suffer a medical condition that makes it so that you can't perform the necessary functions of your job, you can continue to get your unemployment. If a member of your household has been diagnosed with COVID-19, you can still get your unemployment. If you're caring for somebody who has been diagnosed, if you don't have child care because of the virus, you can continue getting your unemployment. And if you don't have transportation, for example, maybe the bus route is not happening anymore, and you needed that bus to get to work. Now, those aren't going to
Hmm.
necessarily keep you your job, but they will keep you, at least for now, on unemployment.
Interesting. There are a few factors on that list that I hadn't considered either. Let's talk about something that I have a feeling might be a little more nuanced, a little more complicated, and that is personal protective equipment, the PPEs that we all hear about. Are there some cases where an employer is required to provide those to an employee, or at a bare minimum, does the law say that they are required to allow their employees to use those protective devices?
There are actually four categories that they'll place each profession in. You're either at very
Mhm.
high risk, medium risk, or low risk. If you're in high risk or very high risk, then the employers are usually going to be required to provide that equipment. So we're talking about people in the healthcare industry. That's going to be at a very high risk,
Right.
working in a lab, handling samples. A high risk could be people that may come in contact with anybody that might be diagnosed. That's going to be high risk. Medium risk, a lot of frequent contact with people. That could be people that work in retail stores or grocery stores. If you're in medium risk, then generally they're not required to provide the equipment, but they should be allowing you to wear the equipment if you want to wear the equipment. Low risk, you really don't have hardly any contact with anybody else. You might be doing telemedicine and working in a home environment. You might be an over the road trucker that you're not even in contact with people. And in those situations, it's actually possible that an employer could prevent you from wearing PPE. I don't know why they would, but legally they technically could. If they had some rationale, I'm sure.
Interesting. Ed, this just makes me believe even more so that you and I are in the right occupations. We're low risk. Nobody wants us anywhere near samples or
Nobody wanted us
laboratories of
near
any
them
kind.
before,
So,
Matt. Matt, nobody wanted us near them before. If I recall, people have been applying the 6 foot rule to the two of us for many years now.
yeah,
So
since birth. Yeah, you're so right. Talk
basically,
about low risk. Well, Ed, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. We hope to talk to you again next week. If you want to get in touch with Brown and Crouppen, you can anytime. They are still open for business, albeit remotely. They're still at full operation. You can call them all twos, 314 22.